Welcome back. Republicans are now closing in on control of the House of Representatives. They are now less than 10 seats away from the magic number of 218. That locks in a Republican majority. A victory in the House would pull off the so-called trifecta sweep, giving the GOP full control of Congress and the presidency. House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise are not waiting for official results. Both are announcing they're running for re-election. In a letter, Johnson writes this: "I look forward to playing the biggest offense of our lives. We have a country to save, and we will." Joining me now is Virginia Congressman Rob Wittman, a member of the House Natural Resources and China Select Committees. He's also the Vice Chairman of the Armed Services Committee. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Congrats to you. I know you also won re-election this week, earning 56% of the vote. How are you feeling about this red wave?
Maria, I am very confident of where the nation has told us they want us to take them. We are now focused on governing. That's our effort right now. I'm very confident that we will indeed take the remaining House seats to gain a majority. I am confident, too, that we have our course staked out in front of us. We're going to get this economy back on track. We're going to secure our border. We are going to make sure we address community safety. We're going to make sure we restore this nation's standing around the world to make sure that we deter the forces of evil from around the world. We have a big job in front of us, but I am confident that we will get it done, and we will not let this nation down.
Well, I mean, look, obviously voters have spoken, and the fact that President-elect Trump not only won the Electoral College, but also the popular vote speaks volumes. I want to get your take on China and how President Trump will handle China. Chinese President Xi Jinping called President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory yesterday. However, Xi told Trump that the U.S. would, quote, gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation with Beijing, likely referring to the potential sanctions threatened by Trump. Congressman, tell me about the policy you're expecting with regard to China.
Well, listen, I expect President Trump is going to be very assertive and unforgiving in how he addresses Xi Jinping. You know, Xi, through his conversation with President Trump, is trying to intimidate President Trump. One thing we know is you're not going to intimidate him. President Trump knows what we need to do in this nation. We need to stand up to China. We need to make sure we rebuild our economy. Let's get back to producing our own energy, producing our own minerals, making sure, too, that we address unfair trade practices by China. So Xi knows that he is trying to get a leg up verbally on the president, but he's not going to do that. I am confident President Trump's policies is going to put this nation back on track to be able to deter China's aggressive economic stance and strategic stance that they've continued to pursue around the world against a very, very weak response from the Biden administration.
Isn't it amazing that all we did was see President Trump win the election, and suddenly you've got a few companies coming out and saying, oh, I'm going to get my supply chain out of China. I'm going to start producing all of my products here. We're going to talk about Steve Madden and another company who announced that yesterday. All he had to do was win, and you're seeing corporate America begin to get in line here. What are the other levers that Trump has to pull? I mean, you've got all of those companies that trade on U.S. exchanges that are Chinese stocks. Would that be a lever to pull for President Trump if China does not, work with the United States and if it doesn't stop undermining the U.S. with its sabotage in terms of surveillance and propaganda and theft?
Well, Maria, President Trump has a lot of tools in his toolbox to be able to go after China's unfair trade practices, their aggressive economic policies, their exploitive trade policies that they perpetrate around the world. So many things that he can do. First of all, he needs to rebuild this nation's economy, get us back into those areas of the value chain, and make sure we're producing things again, critical minerals and rare earth elements. Let's make sure we're doing the things that we know we do best. And those things are the most effective policy to deter and counteract China. President Trump knows that. He's a businessman. He knows that this is about the business of an international economy where the Chinese use forced labor, where they use unfair trade practices, where they're coercive against other countries. He knows that, and he is going to address that assertively.
The president is also reportedly planning on renewing his maximum pressure campaign against Iran with drastically increased sanctions. Hamas is calling for an immediate end to the war in Gaza after Trump's victory. A Hamas spokesperson told Newsweek Palestinians look forward to an immediate cessation of the aggression against our people. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that he will send a new U.S. envoy once Trump returns to the White House. Bibi Netanyahu also firing Defense Minister Yoav Gallant yesterday, who the Biden administration saw as a trusted partner. However, the Biden State Department is digging in, says they will only pursue Biden's foreign policies and will make no accommodation for Trump's proposals until January 20th. Watch this.
How is the State Department planning to handle conflicting policy goals in the Middle East between the current and the incoming administration, meaning the incoming president has said that he doesn't necessarily feel that a ceasefire deal in Gaza is the best way to resolve the war. Is it something where there's room for sort of talking about it in negotiations, or do you continue 100% on?
I think it's very important to remember, with respect to our policy in the Middle East and with respect to all of our policies, that there is one president at a time. And Joe Biden is the president, and we will continue to pursue the policies that he has set forward.
Congressman, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's clear that the Biden administration's policies have failed in the efforts to try to keep peace in the Middle East. It's actually exacerbated aggressive behavior by Iran. President Trump sees that. He sees a renewed aggressive policy against Iran's aggressive behavior there is really the path forward. And he knows that Iran responds to those types of policies. So I think he's going to go back to the maximum pressure policy that he had in the past. And we saw where that was effective. Look at what happened in the Middle East then, Maria. There were no conflicts there. You saw really a reduction in the aggressive behavior by Iran. We know that policy works. We know appeasement to Iran, which is the Biden administration policy, does not work. Strong national security policy and foreign policy by the United States assures that we have a peaceful world. Appeasement and capitulation does not work.
It's just amazing to me that one day after Trump wins re-election, you've got companies moving in a big way to take supply chains out of China. You've got Russia saying that they want to reset with America. You've got the Palestinians saying we look forward to this war being over. I mean, people are getting in line way before January 20th. They are reading the room. Congressman, good to see you. Rob Wittman joining us this morning. We'll be watching your work, sir.